Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for our second semester of Remote Newswave. Here at Tiger TV, we've been working incredibly hard to bring you the news you deserve. I'd like to thank everyone working behind the scenes on this show for making this happen. Over the course of this semester, we are going to be vigorously reporting on what matters to you, right here from my own home studio. I'm Devan Karp, and here are today's top stories for October 16th, 2020. This past Saturday, an 18-wheeler rolled over accident happened on I-35, causing significant delays. Following the crash, the 18-wheeler caught fire, but the fire was immediately extinguished. According to police, the truck's trailer fell across the center barrier and caused it to split in half. One person was transported with non-life-threatening injuries to a local hospital. When the accident occurred, northbound I-35 was closed off for traffic and was diverted at the turn of Guadalupe River turnaround. On September 29th, Trinity University President Danny Anderson announced the retirement of longtime Dean of Students, David Tuttle. Dean Tuttle will leave his position at the end of the 2020-2021 school year. During his time at the university, Dean Tuttle has worked in both residential and student life before becoming Dean of Students in 1999. He has also functioned as interim vice president for the university on numerous occasions. Dean Tuttle's long tenure has shaped the university for the past 3 decades, and President Danny Anderson has made it clear the importance Tuttle's influence has had to do to Trinity University, writing the deep partnership between academic affairs and student life shapes the holistic student experience at Trinity. The next Dean of Students will continue this commitment to fostering deep collaboration that supports Trinity students in the classroom and beyond. San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg remembered the late Eddie Van Halen last Thursday. Like many of Van Halen's fans, the mayor seemed to be remembering the late guitarist by jamming to his music. Mayor Nirenberg tweeted out, "It's loud in my office right now, #Eddie Van Halen." The rock and roll guitarist passed away on Tuesday, October 6th, due to colon cancer. He was 65. Well, speaking of Mayor Ron Nirenberg, our very own Danny Nguyen had the chance to interview him this past week. Take a look.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very special interview on Newswave, Trinity University student news broadcast on campus station Tiger TV. My name is Danny Nguyen, class of 2024, and here with me is the current San Antonio mayor and Trinity alum, class of 1999, Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here.
Great to be with you, Danny.
Mr. Mayor, so my first question to you is, how's the city right now in terms of its progress combating COVID-19?
The city's doing well overall. Obviously, any life lost in this is tragic and unnecessary. And we've mourned over 1,000 of our loved ones since this began. We've had some challenges, clearly. The entire state of Texas, obviously with things opening up, in my view, and many others, too fast, too quickly, and too soon. We've had our challenges, and we saw a very deadly July and August as a result. But we have been in San Antonio consistently putting our public health professionals out front, making sure their guidance was clear and consistent and available to the public, and our communities responded. So we're back in control of this virus. We're not where we want to be yet, but we're getting there, and that will only allow us to see, some life return to normal.
Not just on the health level, but on the financial level. Like, as you know, Mr. Mayor, like the United States, many countries around the world are actually entering a financial recession right now. So I know you guys have been, there's the Prop B that's coming up for voting this November. So how has COVID-19 affected the city financially on the local level?
Well, it's been devastating. And, it's hard to overstate the impacts to the economy that we've seen across the country, globally as well, but certainly across the country, simply because COVID has revealed what many people have known for a while, which is that we have extreme vulnerabilities in our economy, particularly among disadvantaged, lower income residents, communities of color. We've seen them most impacted by the economy. The broader toll economically has been very difficult here in San Antonio because a lot of the industries that are part of the bedrock of this community for a long time have been very hard hit, particularly visitor and hospitality industries. So we've seen severe economic impacts. I will say that San Antonio, though, has shown itself able to collaborate, to exemplify teamwork through crisis. And we've been able to do that from the very start of this pandemic. So we're in position to recover economically, but also do that in a way that brings us back stronger and more resilient than before. And that's where our focus is. But it's hard to overstate the impacts of the economy, the economic crisis, but we will get through it.
And as you know, Mr. Mayor, the flu season is currently underway, and there's a lot of worrying and fears regarding a possible twindemic occurring with both COVID-19 and the flu, creating a lot of potential negative consequences to the city, country, the world. So what do the people of San Antonio really need to continue to do in order to ensure that we return to as much of normalcy as we really want to?
We've really got to do our part with regard to the public health guidance, which amounts to minor inconveniences when you're talking about health and safety and saving lives. The primary one, of course, is wearing face masks. The truth of the matter is this virus transmits in one way. It goes from someone's nose or mouth to another person's nose or mouth. And it goes through the droplets that can become airborne if you sneeze. So the primary way we can ensure we can get back to some normalcy is just to simply wear a face mask when you're out and about, especially, and especially if you're within close quarters with somebody who's not a member of your household. Just wear a fabric covering that can stop those droplets from transmitting somewhere else. The other thing we can do is get a flu shot. As you mentioned, flu season is upon us. We want to make sure it's not exacerbated by COVID and vice versa. We do know that there are health effects that are unknown with regard to COVID-19, long-term health effects, and those may be exacerbated by contracting the flu to the point where it may become deadlier. But even without that, we know that the flu on an annual basis taxes our hospital and medical system. We see a lot of people end up in the hospital just for the regular flu. With COVID happening and taxing our hospital systems at the same time, we don't want to double that effect. So everybody's got to protect themselves from both. Get a flu shot, comply with the best guidance from the public health professionals with regard to COVID.
My last question to you, transitioning from that, is what do you want to say to not only the Trinity community, your alma mater, but also the city of San Antonio currently watching?
Something I've been saying from the start of this pandemic that sometimes gets difficult to remember, which is especially true now that we're in the middle of one of the most divisive political seasons of our lifetimes, and that is the sun also rises. We have been through some very dark times in our community and across our country and even our world over the last many months, perhaps years. But the sun also rises. There are better days ahead. And in my view, that begins with casting a ballot on November 3rd. The top of the ballot, all the way down to the very end, where you can find these propositions to invest in our youngest people and in our displaced workers and our transportation system. This whole ballot from start to finish is enormously important for the future of our city, the future of our economy and our community. And please go cast a ballot, vote, because that will help us get to the other side of what has been a most difficult period of time for our community.
Well said, well said. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you to Mayor Ron Nirenberg for being here. To the Trinity community and beyond, stay safe and stay healthy. This is Danny Nguyen, Newswave 14 reporting.
Go Tigers. Thanks, Danny.
Last week, Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence squared off in the first and only presidential debate ahead of the 2020 election. Harris and Pence answered questions about all sorts of relevant topics, from the coronavirus to climate change. But what really created the most buzz on social media was not the stances either candidate took. Instead, the star of the night was the fly that appeared on Pence's head midway through the debate. The fly remained on Pence's head for just over 2 minutes, which was plenty of time for the creation of endless memes across the internet. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden even took advantage of the fly to sell a fly swatter on his campaign website that read "Truth over flies," and the item sold out overnight. The fly's instant fame is just yet another example of how you never know what will really fly during a debate. One native Texan teenager just broke the Guinness World Record for the longest legs. At 6 feet 10 inches, 17-year-old Macy Curran has become this year's record breaker for having the world's longest female legs and the longest legs on a teenager. Curran's left leg measures 135.2 centimeters and her right leg comes in at 134.3 centimeters, making up about 60% of her total height. When asked about how it feels to have the world's longest legs, Curran says that she didn't actually realize her legs were unusually long until about 2 years ago, when someone asked her if she wanted a custom pair of leggings because standard leggings didn't fit her. Since earning the new Guinness World Record title, My Essay reports that Curran has gone on to encourage other tall women to see that height is a gift and that instead of being ashamed, you should embrace your tallness. With COVID-19 still as present as ever, you might be wondering, is there anything I can do in San Antonio that's fun and safe? Well, you're in luck, as there are plenty of great activities in the San Antonio area to experience. For example, 5 minutes from campus lands us in the gorgeous Pearl area where one farmer's market opens every Saturday and Sunday from 9 p.m. to 1 p.m., selling all different kinds of goods, including fresh and local produce. Also relatively close to Trinity are the San Antonio Botanical Garden and the San Antonio Zoo, where you can experience the beauties of flora, fauna, and so much more. Able to travel a little farther? Well, 20 minutes away from Trinity is the Rooftop Cinema Club Drive-In Theater, where you can sit back, relax, and enjoy showings of different movies in the comfort of your own car. Now, if you're not into any of that stuff, there's still many other things to do in San Antonio, including virtual gym classes, hikes, and hey, even a road trip to Austin is possible. So get out there, enjoy yourself, and remember to stay safe. Well, that's all the time we have for Newswave this week. Make sure to remember to tune into all of our other wonderful television programming right here on Tiger TV. Remember, I'd like to encourage you to stay safe and stay compassionate. I'm Devan Karp, and we'll see you right back here next week.